We're going to set up a 8.5 by 11 by 14 4-page document using facing pages and document shuffle. What we'll do first is go to our new file and we'll set that up with inches in the units. We have 8.5 by 11 for the width, and we're going to do 14 for the height. We'll make sure that that orientation remains at portrait, and we're going to keep facing pages on. And what facing pages is any document that has binding and those pages are facing, a magazine, a book. In this case, we're doing a document that would be 4 pages. Really, it would end up being a single sheet that would be folded, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to set it up in 4 separate pages rather than 2 that would represent the inside and the outside. So with that, we'll set up our pages with the number 4. We can leave the start alone, the primary text frame we can leave, and we'll leave the columns at their default here. We'll go right down to margins. If your margins are not defaulting at 1/2 inch, in this case we are going to use 1/2 inch margins. So if you have anything different there than 0.5 inches, you'll want to make sure that that is 0.5 inches all the way around. For bleed and slug, we're going to set our bleed to the standard of 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125. You can enter that manually here, or you can do a single click up on one arrow, and trusting that you have your linked fields there, this link selected, they're all going to be the same. And we can leave slug as it is. Now remember, in InDesign you have the preview. So anytime you see that preview button, it's great to use because it's going to show you what's going to happen upon selecting create. And you can just take a quick look and see how that's going to set. You can even see it in your pages panel. And this looks great, so I'm going to select create. So remember, that preview is just showing what's going to happen after you select create. It's not exactly happening yet. Select create. And there we have our bleed guide. That red out there is the bleed. Then we have our page trim. So whatever is white here indicates the page after it's been trimmed down. And then we have our 1/2 inch margin. Now in our pages panel, this is where we want to do that document shuffle. We're doing this as a single sheet, which would be one sheet folded in production. Again, for the tutorial, we're setting this up as 4 separate pages. So what we need to do is move these pages into 2 spreads. Right now what we're seeing is the first page as though we were opening the cover of a book. That cover isn't existing in this document, but were we to open a cover, this is page 1 that we would see. So we want to do a little bit of shuffling here. And what we need to remember is that this line that we're seeing to the left of our page 1 represents the gutter. That gutter is the fold, or where you may see staples in a saddle-stitched magazine. So we want to kind of move these pages around a little bit and do so in the correct order. We're going to go to the flyout menu up here in our pages panel, the little lined menu. And what we need to do is turn off allow document pages to shuffle. Now this is a little bit deceiving because we think that it's allowing us to shuffle the pages, but that is checked because we're allowing the document to shuffle the pages. We're allowing InDesign to do that. So we want to deny InDesign from taking over, and we want to do the shuffling. So we're going to turn off allow document pages to shuffle. We'll deselect that. And I'll just make sure again that that's deselected. Now I can go into my pages panel and I can drag these over onto the other side of the gutter. I can start moving things around. So what I'm going to do is very carefully, because it's making sure that we want to do this. It doesn't allow us to easily just drag and drop these. It's making sure that this is something we want to do because it can be detrimental if we do it by accident. So I'm going to drag page 1 just over to the other side of the gutter. You can see that little arrow that it makes and this sort of framed edge that it's also adding, and that is showing me that it's moving that page over to the left side of that gutter line. So I'll move that one there. I'll move page 2 up to the right. page 3 over to the left, and then page 4 up to the right of that. So now we have our double spread. Pages 1 and 2, pages 3 and 4. And again, if this was a menu, for example, this would be a single sheet that would be double-sided and folded. And we're setting this up as 4 pages that are in facing pages.